like it's going to fit.
Great, of course.
Okay, so I took these out.
These old metal grates, right?
Yeah, because they're kind of a booger and you can't get a really tight seal in the wintertime. I bought these to go in. I may have to jerry-rig the whole thing to make it work. We shall see. It looks like it's too... It's hard to tell though because there's so much crap in the way.
Right. All the old caulk and everything.
All the old caulk, and it's hard to see what the size these bricks were. It may be that the bricks were the wrong size.
Well, we'll come back when you figure it out, okay?
Okay, whatever. Alright, so it's close but no cigar. As in I need about another 1/4 inch of this off. Fortunately, I have a tool for that. So I'm going to go get my angle grinder with the masonry bit.
Of course.
And saw a little piece of that out. Hopefully enough of it I can get out to get that in.
Right. This is an old house, and nothing is the dimensions that anything is now.
Nothing
No.
fits.
No. They use actual dimensional lumber, which is really 2 inches by 4 inches, which new lumber isn't.
Let's see. There's our new grate. There's our old grate. And see, they're just about...
They should be exactly the same size.
It shouldn't fit. So
It just doesn't because of life.
It just doesn't because life. I'm going to try it one more time because that does look like that's awful fucking close. As in, why is it not fitting? Ah, there's a fucking nail hanging out in the back.
Well, that could have something to do with it.
There's 2 nails hanging out.
Of course, you can't see what you're doing,
No,
which isn't
of course
good.
not. How could I get my head under there?
You can't see anything, so of course. Maybe that's why it's not working.
This life sucks, people. If you were fortunate enough to have parents and shit that gave a shit about you, so you got a college education, and or you were provided for, life's pretty good if you get old, I hear. I wouldn't fucking know. I don't know, I may have to cut those off. Let's see if I can, see if that's even close to fitting. I don't want to drop it back. I already
Make sure you do it the right direction for closing. Yeah. Yeah, she dropped it once, but yay, big long arms.
Yeah, it's catching on those fucking nails.
That sucks.
But easier to cut off
than concrete, yes.
I think if I get those out of there, it'll just about fit. I may not on the other side.
Playing feely-mealy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully.
Okay.
We'll try. Okay.
Okay, I cut the nails off to the best of my ability because it's hard to see up underneath there.
Right.
There's a bunch of glue and shit I can feel. That's what I'm mostly doing. Okay, what am I doing? I'm filling in these holes because why not?
Yeah, it's open, so why not?
It's
yeah.
open. Might as well fill them up. Gonna, just believe it or not, that'll help it.
Insulate.
Uh-huh. What if that didn't work worth the shit?
Oh well.
Oh no, that rock's too big. What will we do?
Oh.
There we go.
Oh my goodness, you now have 3 smaller rocks.
Yeah. See, now it fits.
There you go.
Okay, so the idea is just to kind of fill it in so it's that much less of an air gap if I wanted to, if I felt like it, which I kind of don't, because in case you can't tell, boys and girls, Selina's in a mega funk.
Yeah.
So, what do I do when I'm in a mega funk? Do I sit around and go, oh, woe is me? I do it. I do that. But I do it while I'm working.
Yeah.
So that the world isn't getting even worse while I sit around licking my freaking wounds. At any rate, so this is what we're doing. I'm filling in those holes.
And drilling out and hammering out concrete from...
And then I'm going to have to, that's why one of the things I don't want to do is build it up with rocks and then say, oh, the rocks are in the way now.
Yeah. Fun.
So that's why I brought more rocks, but I'm not putting them in yet.
Yeah, because you want to see.
Okay, so my angle grinder comes with masonry attachments.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have used it before, with varying degrees of success. We'll see what happens today. Because let me tell you something, boys and girls, that if you've lived more than 15 minutes, you already know. When you feel like crap anyway, and you just feel like you can't take one more thing, nothing works.
Nothing works.
Nothing works.
And 95 more things happen.
And 95 more things happen. And nothing works right.
Yes.
Nothing works right. You know, like you go to the store and buy this, it should be easy. Pop it out, put the new one in. No.
No.
No. This is actually one I've used before.
This bit is, I mean, this, I
Yeah,
don't
you can
mean
tell
bit.
if you look at it because it's
Yeah, I can see the blade's been used.
been used. Okay, so let's see how well it's going to work.
Do you want this stool?
No, I'm going to sit over here on the thing. Or in the hole. My butt's already wet, so at this point it doesn't fucking matter. I'm going to have to take the handle off. Because it won't fit
Yay.
with the handle on. Did you know you could do that, boys and girls? Yes, you can take the handle off. Ooh, it's working really slow.
But it's working.
The problem is that new bricks come apart a better easier than old bricks do.
Well, yeah.
Okay, let's see if we're having any luck so far. I need a cold chisel, so I'll go look for that in a little while. But I want to see if I can just, if it's going to work at all. Yeah, I should be able to see, I won't be able to cut all the way in, so what will probably happen is I'll keep fucking around until I knock a big giant chunk out of this, and then I'll have to put it in with cement.
Yay!
Which may actually be easier, so I'm not going to sweat it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to score it across here, score it up there, score it there to the best of my ability. I'm going to score it across here, and then I'm going to use a cold chisel. It's not going to be a good tight fit. It's not going to be blah, 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 right? Like I said,
It'll be better than what was there.
I care about that shit, and today I don't.
It'll be better than what was there.
All right, so cold chisel. That's a cold chisel. But you know what else you use for cold chisel?
A railroad tie.
Railroad spike. So I'll show you a little
Spike.
bit of the railroad spike before I go to my cold chisel, which will actually look better. Just want to put it in the fucking groove you made and just start poking a little bit at a time. And then this is actually a masonry hammer. As you can see, it's made for chipping brick. But it's going to take me a while.
Right.
But yes, you can use an old railroad spike for a cold chisel, especially if you took some time and...
Are you saying cold like C-O-L-D or cold
Coal.
like C-O-A-L?
Yeah.
Coal, okay.
Although I've heard it called both.
Huh.
I doubt because, so who knows? Somebody's going to write and say, it is or cold
It's a whatever. We don't know. It's one or the other. Who knows? Okay.
But yeah, it'll be a slow process, of course, because you know.
Life. Okay, I'm going away. That's gorgeous. I've got you on.
Oh, okay. So, Lynn had to go in and take care of the yogurt, so she wasn't here. I pulled out all the pieces. I filled up the holes completely with little rocks. Then I shoved that back in there. First I put caulk along on the top part of it, shoved it up in, and then I shoved it into the hole. And where the hole was too big, I shoved in, I put caulk in, put rocks in. That's 25-year window and door caulk that I got on sale for $2.50 a tube. And I caulked it all up and filled the holes and then filled it up with rocks and caulk, rock and caulk, rock and caulk. When I paint it, it won't matter.
No, you won't be able to tell.
And hopefully this one will not be as bad because it won't be right next to the fence.
Yeah, next to the fence you
That
couldn't.
would be nice if it would fit because
Yes.
when you put the freaking thing I
right
bought over the grate, they're the same
They're
size.
the same size, I know.
But they won't fit in the hole, so there you go.
Yeah, it makes no sense at all.
Yeah. So hopefully the next one will just go in and it won't be as much caulk.
Yep.
But there's less caulk than there looks like there because it was just the front part that chipped out.
Right. The
It's-
middle and the back
only
are still.
this much.
Yeah.
The rest of it was still in, so.
Still
And then it's
both
all
cinder.
just rock and
Cinder block.
rock and caulk, rock and caulk.
Yay.
The whole damn world is covered with rock and caulk. Not cock, you fucking bastard. Caulk. What?
You were on.
All right, so I dug that hole out. You can see it's not pretty,
No,
right? It's
no.
not pretty. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill up the cracks and stuff with caulk.
What kind of caulk did you say this was? This
is door and window caulk, and it's 35-year caulk. So it's got a little bit more silicone in it. It's got a little bit, it doesn't, it's more water resistant and shit like that. So it's perfect for a job like this, which is under the house and everything else. So you can see here's the old grate.
Yeah, it's just like that other one you took out.
Yeah, except you can see a mouse can get through that, a snake
Yes.
can get through that, bugs can get through that. So I'm putting in one, an aluminum one,
That has, a fine mesh on the
a
back.
fine mesh on the back. So hopefully keep snakes and
And it's going to be, when it's done, it'll look
critters
like
out.
the one down
It'll look
there.
just like that one.
Only she's
Okay.
going to show you how she got there this
But I'm going
time.
to show you, yeah, instead of just saying, this is what I did, I'm kind of going to show you. Okay, so, get my caulk. Recaulk my gun.
You've only used a little bit on this project.
Yeah, a little bit. 4 billion tons of caulk. That's how
Yeah.
people paint old houses. I got news for you. We talked to some guy in Eureka Springs one time who had bought an old Victorian that he had remodeled. And I said, wow, it looks good. He said, yeah. He said, 256 minutes of caulk.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, you don't even look shocked. I said, I have an old house.
Uh-huh.
I get it. You know, it's like everything's cracked and everything's warped and you got to try to fix. Okay, so like I told you about before but didn't show you, I'm filling these holes up with rocks. I'm filling with rocks because first off makes it stronger, but second off it doesn't leak as much wind and anything else. So, and it just gives a better. You see now some of these are not the right shape, so. I think we showed you this before, Mr. Hammer.
Yes.
These are old pieces of concrete from other jobs. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of stuff them down in there. Okay. Then I'm going to take, bust up some more. Watch your eyes.
I have glasses and I'm way back.
Okay. Yeah, don't poke your helper in the eye with falling debris. They don't like that, and then they're all bitchy. Why did you do that? And you're like, I don't know. It seemed like a good idea at the time. You know, so you don't want to do that if you can keep from it. So I'm just going to stuff some rocks and shit in there. Like I said, just
A lot of these rocks, in case you're wondering, came from all over the place, but some of them came from our garden because it was full of rocks. Yeah.
You know,
Lots
other
of things.
jobs, all kinds of crap. There's some pieces of tile left over from where I scavenged some shit out of a junk pile. You know, so it's like, yeah, you never know what you're going to have. And that's, you know, they'll all work. This is a piece of bark.
Bark won't work, okay.
Bark I don't want, no. Okay, so I've got to kind of got those in there now. So now I'm going to see what I got. You got to make sure that you don't forget, because, okay, you want to make sure you don't forget, because the louvers need to be like that so that the water goes off.
Right,
if you put them upside down,
then it feeds into the house.
Then it feeds into the house. Not good. Okay, so I got to make sure my thing still fits, and it does. So now I'm going to take and put an insanely thick double bead of caulk on the top of this.
Because you can't get to the top once you put it in there.
Because I can't get to the top now, and once I put it in there, I won't be able to, and I want a good tight seal. So I'm basically doing this way. Why? Because I can't fucking see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the side. And then I'll probably do another bead on the sides on the outside once I get it in. But it's just trying to make sure that we got a good tight seal so that when it's closed, you know, you don't have wind blowing up under the house.
I'm
when
watching
it's
you
open,
again, not filming.
Huh?
I was just bitching at myself.
Why?
Because I was letting the camera not do what it was supposed to do. I got you, but I didn't get as good as I should have.
Okay, so now I'm going to get it in there, I'm going to push it up, and it wants to fall back down. So what I'm going to do is, this is the tricky thing I wanted to show you guys. Okay, so I'm going to take these little pieces of rock, I'm going to kind of smother them with shit, in order to get a good tight fit on that weird ass humpy little thing. I'm going to take those and stick them in there.
And try to shove it up.
Yeah, try to shove it up and try to keep them in where I want them instead of falling into the hole. It's another reason to fill the rocks with holes. With rocks. Yeah, whatever I said.
The holes with rocks?
Yeah, that's another reason. Okay, so that when you do this, they don't just fall through. But the idea is you want to push that up into, remember the double bead of caulk?
Yeah, you want that double bead of caulk to make contact, right.
So now it's like, I'm going to put a couple more of those in, and then I will just fart around with little rocks, see? I will take it, let's put it in there. I'm going to get that in there. Alright, now I'm going to take this little rock and shug it in there. And when I get done, it'll look like that down there. And once we paint it, you won't even notice.
No,
But anyway, that's what I'm doing.
That is awesome. Okay, cool. Now we know what you did last time on that other one.
Well, because, you know, once again...
You're going to caulk all around the sides.
I'm going to caulk all around the sides and get a really good bead on the sides. And then I'm going to fill this up with caulk and rocks.
Awesome.
And, you know, because if I didn't fill it with rocks, I would use the entire tube of caulk. And, or more. And not really have a good tight seal, but I'm doing it with rocks. Okay, so I'm going to clean those off. I just use my finger most of the time. I have all the fancy shit to make regular beads and shit with. 90% of the time I'm either using a putty knife or I'm just using my finger. And I gotta tell you, I don't like to get sticky, and you probably, if you're like me, you don't like to get sticky. But I gotta tell you, none of the tools I have or the putty knife work as good as my fingers do to get a good clean bead and make it do weirdness. Now, if you were working on a tub, a brand new tub or something that didn't have all the crap and garbage, you could just use a nice one of those kit flattener things and all that shit. But when you don't have that and you're working with garbage and shit that's not even and areas that aren't even, and you're literally sticking rocks in to fill up the cracks.
Yes.
You know, yeah, it works better to use your hands.
Well, we'll come
Don't be afraid to get sticky.
Don't
That should be I'm going to make a t-shirt doing that.
Don't be afraid to get sticky.
All right. So
Okay.
you can see that's going to work. I'm just going to stick some more rocks in there and then smooth the front. And then I did get stung once, just so you know. My bees were super nice yesterday, but today they decided to, one of them stung me. So I had to get down because once one of them, remember this people, case you didn't know this about bees. When one of them stings you, they release a pheromone that basically tells everybody else that something is trying to fuck with the hive. So at that point, I had to stop working because otherwise they would have all attacked me. And like I said, they're fairly non-aggressive. This is the first time I've ever had one of them, and I've been all around that fucking hive. But I'm in the front in their main entrance right now, so not good. But, you know. Yeah, and it kind of really, yesterday I felt
Dripping
like
on
I
your
was
leg.
the bee whisperer.
Dripping, your cock's dripping on your leg. Yeah, you were really the bee whisperer yesterday.
I felt like
but
I was the bee whisperer, and I felt like the universe was in tune with me, and I was feeling it, you know. And then today, it's like when the bee stung me, I kind of lost my shit a little bit because it's like, oh, the universe hates me.
Yeah, no, the bees just were in a mood today.
Well, who knows? It might have been any number of things, and not all of them. Most of them were still ignoring
We're
me.
still ignoring you
I
completely.
just had a couple that just decided to be douchebags.
Oh, gee, that's a metaphor for life,
I
isn't
know,
it?
right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then immediately I'm like, you know, motherfuckers, everybody told me I should spray you with wasp spray. And I said, no, we need the bees. Leave the bees. And the minute they did that, I'm like, okay, maybe wasp spray, not such a bad idea. Why did, maybe I shouldn't have just, and it's, yeah, we were talking about that. It's a metaphor for everything, because it's like, you're like, those people deserve to be saved. Oh, until one of them gets in your face. Then you're like, okay, kill them all. Everybody has a right to their opinion. Oh, except that fucker there who won't shut up. You know, that kind of shit.
Yep.
That's kind of the way I was with the bees. And it was like, okay, so you can see. When that dries.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And when I get over here, when it's time to do this side, I'll just paint it really carefully. And
yeah, and you paint around that.
Yep.
And it'll look fine.
It'll look
and
awesome.
It's finally right.
That's so cool.
Ish. Right-ish.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'm gonna